Hello everybody, Sunday Adelaja here. Now I keep on talking about the political ideology that I want to introduce to the whole world. The political ideology of organized righteousness. Just like we have organized crime, so also must the good people, the righteous people in any society should get together, must get together and be organized if they don't want to be ruled by the worst people of their society. If the righteous people, the best people in any society, the good people in any society, if they don't want to be dominated by evil, by the evil men of that society, well, they've got to pay the price of self-organization. They've got to pay the price of getting together, swallowing their ego, and that way they will be able to have the majority and the power it takes for their values to actually rule and dominate the society, rather than the value of the minority and of the less people of that society or the evil people of that society. But today I'm going to be talking about it in another aspect. I'm going to be talking about organized righteousness from the viewpoint of domestic righteousness. Domestic righteousness. So what is domestic righteousness? The way I would like to describe it, that will make some people laugh and giggle, is domestic righteousness is the kind of righteousness that most Christians practice. Domestic righteousness is the kind of Christianity that is practiced in my home nation, Nigeria. So what is it? What is domestic righteousness? Well, domestic righteousness is when your righteousness is only affecting your lifestyle, your practices. That is, we Christians, the way you know Christians is that we don't smoke, we don't drink, we don't sleep about, and we go to church. That is the kind of righteousness that's only affecting you, your family, and your behavior, your manners. It's a righteousness that is based on individual manners. That is why I call it domestic righteousness. That is, it's domestic. It's a domesticated righteousness. It's just righteousness that is only for you, only good for you. I'm not smoking, I'm not drinking, I'm not sleeping around, I'm not stealing. Just be my own righteousness, just for me. But that kind of righteousness is not a societal righteousness. That kind of righteousness is not good enough to entrench value systems that will change a whole nation. So you could have a country where 80% of the citizens are Christians, born again Christians, who are practicing domestic righteousness. So they say, I'm not smoking, I'm not drinking, I'm not sleeping around, and they go to church. They're well groomed, they wear suits, normally dark suits, black ones, and they don't smoke, they don't drink, and they just walk about. But then the whole society will be corrupt. And you know what that will lead to? Why that is bad? What happens is that even though you are all Christians, 80% of the country is Christian, but because you are only practicing domestic righteousness, that is not, you've not been taught to take your value systems and convert it into the societal value system. You've not been taught to, live a lifestyle that changes the lifestyle of the society and the way society is run. And because you have been righteous on your own domestically, and you've not changed the value system, you've not redefined the value system of the society at large, even though there are 80% of you who are Christians, the whole society will still be corrupt. And because the values of the society are not altered and they are not changed, they are not adjusted, what will happen is that once you go out of your own comfort zone, once you go out of your home or of your church, you go into your workplace, you begin to repeat and practice exactly the same thing all of the society are practicing or is practicing. For example, this is what is happening in Nigeria right now. So you will see that Christians are Christians, but when they go to job, when they go to work, They lie just like everybody else. If you don't do that, you will not survive here. This is the society we have. Then they steal. Then they will say, well, this is just the way. If you do that, I will have to feed my family. Then they compromise. They do everything else every other person does. They bribe. They bribe every other person. They take bribe. But in the church, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't sleep around. I'm a Christian. It is domestic righteousness that is not good enough to change the society, and it might not even be good enough for you to go to heaven. So what happens in that kind of society is everybody is a Christian, but in the society, everybody is cheating everybody. Everybody is a Christian, but everybody is deceiving one another. Everybody is a Christian, but everybody is driving around in the road. How? Everybody is a Christian, but nobody is picking the garbage and the mess and the dirt and the litters out of the street. How can you be Christians and you are littering everywhere? Everybody is a Christian, but everybody is defecating the whole place. How? How can you be a Christian? How can this country be 80% Christian and everything is so upside down? Nothing is organized. Everything is out of order. How? That is the problem of lack of organized righteousness and the problem of domestic righteousness that is preached in churches. And this kind of domestic righteousness comes from a school of thought, theological thought, that is called the gospel of salvation churches. When churches focus on the gospel of salvation, teaching people that they just need to go to heaven, that's what happens. So people are more focused on their defined as the church or their culture or the Christian culture as defined Christianity. Don't smoke, don't drink, don't sleep around, and then you are a Christian. But every other thing in the society that the society does, but that's just the society. Then you are just like all of them. That's why there is a big dilemma right now in my country, Nigeria. How come that we have so many Christians? We have more than 88 million people go to church every Sunday in my country. That's like half of the country. And if you have this huge number of people going to churches, why is the country not changing? Why is there so much corruption? Why is it that the same politicians who you are saying are corrupt are the same politicians who are the ushers in church, or who are the ones who are the biggest givers in church? Even pastors that are supposed to be teaching people in church, they live like the politicians themselves, or they live like they are millionaires or billionaires. How? When they don't have so much business, how do they get it? Because domestic righteousness, the problem of domestic righteousness. As long as I'm praying, as long as I'm going to church, as long as I'm not doing our Christian sins, I'm not smoking, not drinking, not sleeping around, well, I'm a Christian. But every other thing, economically, socially, politically, everybody just try to make it. Just try to find a way. You have to hustle. And that's what they call it. But really, that public righteousness, that societal righteousness has cancelled your domestic righteousness. It's called hypocrisy. It's not Christianity. If your Christianity is not affecting the culture, if your Christianity is not affecting the society, you don't really have one. If your righteousness is only good enough for you not to smoke and drink and not to sleep around, and it's not good enough to affect the culture, to change the nation, to impose righteousness upon the way of living of the whole nation. If your righteousness is not good enough to change your street, your neighborhood, it's not good enough for you to love your neighbor, is that really righteousness? I call it domestic righteousness. I'm not even sure it's good enough to take you to heaven. Even though we're all saying we're righteous. More righteous than you, more righteous than you, I'm more righteous than you. Show me the result in the changed society in the changed nation, in the change that we see politically, economically, socially, in the transformation of the society. If your righteousness is only good enough for you when you are in church or when you are doing family devotion at home, that's not good enough to change your workplace, to change the society, the nation. Is that really righteousness? I'm not sure. It's called domestic righteousness. It's not powerful enough to affect the lifestyle of the nation, to change the culture. The only way that kind of righteousness or any righteousness will be able to change a nation is for it to become organized righteousness. And we must extend it beyond the four walls of the church. We must extend it beyond your only personal holiness. We must extend it to the general values of the society and to the general society, to the general culture. That way, organized righteousness brings about a new nation, a transformed society, and a prosperous country for the love of God, church, and nature, and nation. Bless us. If you have been watching our videos and maybe you enjoy them, maybe you don't enjoy them, but still, we need you to help us spread the word. And for that to happen, we only need you to take 5 little steps. Please help us spread this word by liking the video. Then, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We also need you to press the notification button, and the way to do that is to click on the bell. You see the bell there? Click on it. Then, of course, leave your comments. Let's know what you're thinking about each video. And finally, we need you to go and share the word. Share this video on your Facebook timeline, on your Instagram, and every other platform that you have. All right? Let's win the world for Christ. Thank you so much. Peace.